Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, Fruit Ninja. Today I'm playing the sequels to the most iconic mobile games of all time. The first game I had to try was, of course, Angry Birds, perhaps the most iconic game to ever grace a mobile phone. Now, I personally tapped out of Angry Birds years ago, so you should have seen my surprise when I found out the sequel is over 10 years old. And in honor of that aging up, legal arbitration clauses right from the get-go. Look, it's Angry Birds with a lot more explosions. Literally. The first big change here is that all birds now have special effects. You probably remember the blue bird, which splits when you tap. Well, now even our humble red has a sonic screech ability. Look, this game is pure carnage. From pieces of the level flying right at your screen, to these plants that pick up pieces of debris and fling them around endlessly. But now we unlock our first bird, and in a nice twist, you actually get to choose which of the birds you want to unlock. And while I'm sure they've handcrafted each of the levels with the idea that you'd go with the recommended blackbird, I'm going with the original order and freeing my man Blue. But now another piece of innovation. Unlike the first game with its carefully curated bird order tailored to the level, Angry Birds 2 lets you load up your birds however you want. Similarly, with enough destruction, you can fuel your war machine and earn additional birds to fling at the piggies. But a few big explosions later, and things start to get a little weird. I get 100 red feathers, which are used to upgrade red, which increases the amount of score I get with said bird, which I can get more of by shelling out my hard-earned dollary dues. On a better note, dropping a bomb cart on the boss pig is absolutely free. Level 8 brings us another choice at a new bird, and this time I go with one that I'm pretty sure wasn't in the original game. This one does a little loop-de-loop before dive bombing straight into the ground. Now, the freedom to pick your own birds is nice and all, but it's clear not all levels are designed with every bird in mind. Now, failing a level brings up an interesting choice. I can spend my limited gem currency to get an additional 3 bird cards, or retry the level for 10 easily replenished energy. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, this game does have an energy system, since every mobile game is hell-bent on stopping you from playing them. There are some interesting additional modes like this Tower of Fortune, which is much more gambling than it is Angry Birds. You flip cards and gain rewards, but each set of cards has a chance of ending the game and stealing all your rewards. In my case, I get the rare opportunity to spend 20 gems to save my earned reward of 11 gems. My next unlock isn't quite a bird. Okay, it's still a duck, but it's actually a spell, and spells are extremely overpowered. Of course, that means the main way of getting them is to spend more hard-earned dollars. Look, I'm not the most anti-microtransaction guy out there. I've probably spent a couple $100 on Fortnite over the years. But offering an 8-hour FOMO pack for $180 to a player who's played just about an hour of your game is pretty scummy to me. At the very least, the game is still very fun. Next up is the classic fruit slicing game, Fruit Ninja 2. Now, the Google Play Store has this listed as Fruit Ninja 2 Fun Action Games, which makes it sound like a cheap ripoff, but no, it's actually made by Half Brick Studios. Now this game is exactly how I remember. Cut multiple fruits in one slice for a combo, bombs running interference with that familiar hiss, and the almighty pomegranate, forcing you to aggressively scratch up your old iPhone screen. But Fruit Ninja 2 adds in a new PvP mode with 3 colors of fruits. Your own blue fruit, neutral white, and your opponent's red. The trick is that you can only cut your own and neutral fruit, getting a big ol' X if you cut the wrong ones. That said, I'm not sure they expected anyone to struggle with the tutorial part, since I ended up getting a dub, even though we ended up tied. Completing the tutorial, though, is where the sus elements begin to crop up. Just like Angry Birds 2, every game nowadays apparently needs a card-based leveling system, this time in the form of blades. Because if Clash Royale did it, we can too. But where Angry Birds was pretty aggressive on getting you to spend a few bucks, Fruit Ninja 2 has a different approach. At the end of your Arcade Plus games, Nudo Petite Rings. Now, there are quite a bit of modes to choose from, but you gotta play like 5 arcade games to unlock them. Of course, at the end of each one, you get a slightly different offering. $4 for no ads. Of course, there's gotta be a battle pass. But by far the worst of them all are just how long some of these ads are. I mean, look at how long they force you to sit and watch these ads. Eventually, I do unlock the other modes, and I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I laid my eyes upon Fruitar Hero, I knew what I had to do. That said, the Guitar Hero experience doesn't translate that well to fruit slicing controls, and I'm like 90% sure this slice combo is actually physically impossible. There's a lot of other time killers here too, though. This minigame rush mode has a lot of that WarioWare DNA, but instead of getting faster and harder, it kicks you out and then straight up disappears from the modes list. And of course, I couldn't leave Fruit Ninja without playing the classic mode, and hey, some of their old tricks still work really well. Now, I won't lie, I had planned on playing more Fruit Ninja, but the third 1-minute unskippable ad made the decision for me. In a world where people can chat with AI, I decided to revisit the OG talking icon, My Talking Tom 2.
And I'll be honest, I didn't play much of the original My Talking Tom, so part of my pure disgust probably applies to the original game too.
Here we have a much smaller and more delicate Tom. I swear I meant to put him down gently. My Talking Tom 2 has got the whole Sims bars going on. You gotta feed him. There's potty humor. And then get some shut-eye. Interestingly, the tutorial chooses to skip over the whole talking Tom part, but with a little bit of finagling and allowing the app to spy on me, Tom finally regains his voice after all those years.
I was once an icon of my generation, but then the suburban moms left me for Candy Crush, leaving my employers to have to lay me off.
Thank you for that, Tom.
Now really, Talking Tom 2 is just a glorified minigame simulator. By clicking on the legally distinct game controller in the back, we get a smattering of games to choose from. Most of these are retellings of popular games you've probably seen before. This one is that old app that I forgot the name of. This one is that old arcade game that I also forgot the name of. And of course, they have a little bit of an ad issue.
Color Oasis for adults.
They're all solid games. It's just, I'm not really talking to Tom.
Believe it or not, I was put on the shelf because of my opinion on mobile games. Believe it or not, the power belongs to the players. And if we all rise up against our corporate overlords, we can...
Your reward for playing through the minigames and suffering through the ads is a smattering of cosmetics for Tom, and the food to ensure his survival. And of course, more ads.
Hello, everyone.
Last on the list is Cut the Rope 2. Actually, I have to show you my cool artwork I made in My Talking Tom 2 first. I really like the color design here. Part of me was curious why Cut the Rope needed a sequel anyway. Cut the Rope is all you do. Unsurprisingly, the puzzle gameplay here is exactly as I remembered, complete with the franchise mascot, Om Nom. But I don't care how cute he is, I'm actually not going to be forfeiting my Google Drive data and credit card details to him. Cut the Rope really reminds me of those mobile game ads where a dumb person tries to figure out a puzzle. The only problem is, I'm that dumb person today. And the problem with that is that in this ad-laden world of today, the punishment for failing these puzzles So you know what? We all know what Cut the Rope is, and I got 30 seconds to kill. Let's play some stupid ad games. This one is your classic lane shooter. Don't pick the obviously bad game option, but the game's still got hands. Interestingly, this one forces you to visit the online store page before letting you go free. New mechanic, balloons that you can pop to guide the candy, but no, I'm committed. In the ad version of this cheap ad game, you can actually slip through the choice blocks, but that will leave you woefully underprepared for the big boss. Instead, you should focus on maxing out your soldier count by shooting the additional guys portal. And nope, I'm not playing an app that forces my browser to open up the app page. I am done here. Don't forget to like the video and support on Patreon, and maybe I'll subject myself to more garbage games. Eventually, I do